We'll call the Finance and Personnel meeting to order. All members are present. We have adoption of the minutes from the last meeting, July 25th, 2019. Sarah, you had a chance to
Move approval. Second.
second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approved. Okay, superintendent's report.
Average daily population, Rappahannock with 27 at 8%, Shenandoah County with 134 at 40%, and Warren County with 174 at 52%. Total member jurisdiction ADP, 335. Contract bids, we have 1 with Prince William County, 71 with Page, and 88 with Culpeper, bringing total facility ADP to 495. Vacancies, we've had some updates since this was sent out. We actually have 26 officer vacancies instead of 29, and we have 7 in background. So we're hoping by end of this month, beginning of next month, we should be down to around 19, 20 vacancies versus 33 where we were at last month. I believe it was 33.
33 last month, and where are we at right now? 20?
We're 26 vacancies with 7 in background. So, yeah.
It's been a while since we've hit below 20.
Right.
So maybe the pay,
I think that's definitely had an impact on interest into the position. So, yeah, we're competitive again. That if you look at the graph that I believe you asked for,
Yep.
you can see every time
Yep.
we did the pay raise, they drop down, and then as time goes on, they start sneaking back up, and we're no longer competitive, and then take it back down
so I
again.
guess as a committee and then as a board, we'll maybe pay attention to the slope of that graph more carefully and get ahead of it.
But, some of it is seasonal with us too, as far as when we get applications. Throughout the summer, people are on vacation, we just don't get applications too. So, and around the holidays, we don't get applications, and then after those times, before those times, they kind of.
And people know they're not gonna get off on leave for the first few months.
Right,
and-
right. So, yeah, hopefully the trend continues, we continue to fill the vacancies and everything is well. Let's see.
The medical vacancies?
Some medical vacancies, we have, one in background. We did, we've had another contract nurse in background as well, to kind of fill a gap until we can hire another one. So as far as medical staff, we're in pretty good shape. It's not, critical that we, need to fill these two. We've actually got some pretty good coverage right now. One other thing, facility grounds and maintenance I don't have on here. We do have the parking lot scheduled to be restriped and resealed September 5th and 6th. We're putting some information out to the public and on our website, posting signs, because staff's gonna have to basically park around the roadway, and parking lot's gonna be unavailable for those 2 days. It will affect 1 day of visitation, but we actually plan on modifying visitation so that nobody misses a visit for a day. So it should cause little to no impact for the community.
Who'd you end up with as contractor?
Seal Right, it's somebody out of Culpeper. They're
Okay.
a fairly new company,
Good.
a lot of experience, doing a lot of big jobs for, restaurants and Walmart and
Oh,
things like
great.
that, so.
Great. Culpeper trying to get some of their money back, see?
Let's see. MA programs and services, we've got some photos in here, like we've been presenting, work has been done in all 3 jurisdictions. Over the summer, there was a lot of work done at Rappahannock County at the schools, trying to get the elementary school. I guess it's kind of a little common area in the middle, ready and things
Which
like that.
came out really well, and I went to the little ribbon cutting they had, and they mentioned the workforce specifically, and very happy with the outcome.
The only thing I did not have it on this at the last meeting, there was, talking about staffing and vacancies and,
Yes, sir.
more inmates and things like that. I did go back and look, 'cause I think there were some legitimate concerns about, are we working our staff too much mandatory overtime. So we had some stats ran from, July to July for the whole fiscal year. And the way it shook out, it really kind of surprised me how low it was. The average officer worked 2.72 hours per pay period. So every 2 weeks, of overtime every 2 weeks. So less than
Oh,
3
every
hours.
2 weeks, every pay period, so
Oh, that's, sorry, we're on monthly pay, yeah.
an hour and a little bit.
Right. Even our highest officer who worked 328 hours of overtime last year, not just mandatory overtime, this is total overtime, not mandatory,
Voluntary.
total overtime. He worked 328 hours, which would have been 6.3 hours a week. So I was really glad to see that. I'm glad that, I didn't think we were overworking staff, but that's where it shook out.
Probably good information to share the full.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so
Absolutely.
that covers everything, including covering
That's-
others that are on leave and everything.
Everything, that's total overtime. And that was actually with 92 staff. There was actually 114 on the list, so there was 92 staff that actually had overtime showing
Of 100.
out of 114 from that list.
Do you have many part-time?
We do, we have some other additional part-time that are filling hours as well.
Right.
But typically that doesn't affect our overtime
Well,
too
it would,
much.
right, and so that would
Right.
absorb the
Right.
overtime
We
need if they could
currently
kind of
have-
flex up and down.
About 4 people doing part-time,
How long is a shift for your staff?
12 hours.
12 hours.
So they're working 2 days on, 3 days off, 3 days on, 2 days off. So, they're only, even out of a 2-week period, they're only working on about half that time. So they have a lot of off days to actually pick up extra hours if they want to.
It's timely. Of course, you saw the Epstein suicide and talk about guys working double shifts and stuff, and it sounds like we're nowhere near that kind of overtime, and based on 2.7 hours for a 2-week period in average.
And we have people that really want the overtime. We have some that don't want any. I mean, I've got the list here if somebody wants to see. We've got people that did 120 some hours for the year, and we've got some that did 20 hours for the year. It's all over the map. And,
Yeah, I think it's important to put that in context at our next meeting.
I think it was a legitimate concern, legitimate question. It is, we always want to make sure our staff is safe and, we're not putting anybody in jeopardy. And I don't feel we are right now at this point. So.
Thank you for providing that.
And that's it for the superintendent's report.
All right, sir. Financial report?
Just under $365,000 was received from the compensation board in July for the June 2019 salaries and benefits reimbursement, of which $20,000 was for vacancy savings. That's because in June, we received May and June's, how the comp board shakes out, you have to request things. Contract.
Did you understand the comp board?
Huh?
Just kidding.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you said.
I said, do you understand the comp board? I'm still
You know.
trying to figure that one out.
It takes some doing. Contract bed rental billing for July 2019 was $76,000 for Culpeper, $87,000 for Page, and $2,000 for Prince William. July, of course, marks the beginning of the fiscal year, which is 8.3% of the way through the year. Expenditures are currently at 5.8% used. Revenue was at 12.5% realized. And Robinson Farmer Cox has scheduled to be here for our FY19 audit, September 18th and 19th. Mary Earhart came last month and did preliminary field work on the accounting side of it. I haven't gotten the journal entries back to do from her for like depreciation and all of that yet, but they're finishing that work up and I should get them soon.
I did have one other thing to add, and that could have been on the superintendent's report of this. We did finally receive the signed contract back from Culpeper for 100 beds, guaranteeing that they're gonna pay us $105,000 a month if they just have 100 beds here. If we have more, they want more, they can have it, but at a minimum, it's $105,000 a month at $35 a day. That's for the first year. So effective July 1 of next year, they get a $37 a day, which raises it to $111,000 a month. So, if Page continues where they're at, Culpeper, if they maintain where they're at, we're looking at $2 million plus.
So they're at 88 right now. If they keep 80, I'm sure they'll find bodies to get to 100, but if they're at 88, it's still fixed fee.
It is.
Right.
Well, right.
If they're over 100, then there's.
Then they're gonna pay additional, they're gonna pay for what they use.
But they do that to know that they have reserve capacity for 100.
So we have presented them with a contract. They have agreed to it.
They have agreed to it, yes, it's signed.
Does our full board need to take action on the contract?
Previously, in previous years, the board has approved me to facilitate these contracts. And I always bring it to the board for informational, this is where we're at, but I've been approved to do that. If there needs to be a change for that, then.
And that's important because in improving our budget, we've kind of taken a little bit of a step, assuming that we're
bumped it
going to
up.
realize revenue, and we bumped it up this year, assuming we're gonna realize revenue. I think we bumped up to 950,000.
150,000.
So with that contract, we're covered.
Oh, just.
Just with that, and we know
Right.
there'll be more, so that's a good spot for us to be in.
Right. Talking with Culpeper, they're very happy with the agreement they have here. By doing this, they're actually able to bring their weekenders back that they were housing at Orange. So they're saving money,
But they keeping weekenders locally, I assume. right?
They weren't, they were actually keeping them at
Oh,
Orange
okay.
at Central.
But they will be
But
now,
they will
keep-
be now, because they're gonna move a little more of the population here, so they're very happy with the arrangement here, and I don't see them moving anytime soon. So, but, yes. Sorry, that's all I had to add. But
Finance related.
That's all that I had to.
All right. Item 5, inmate transportation vans discussion.
For the budget, I had requested to purchase 2 new vans with inserts. I kind of under budgeted that. I used figures that I saw for what the 2 vans were, and based upon what our inserts were that we bought 5 years ago when we first opened, those inserts have dramatically increased in cost. We had budgeted $95,000. Total cost for the 2 vans and 2 inserts is actually $122,791. So I'm $27,000, $791 short. Just want to see, I think we have enough revenue to cover the difference, but I just want to see, if that was okay to go ahead and make those purchases, or how.
What kind of miles do you have on current vehicles?
I'm gonna guess they're somewhere around 100,000, and we don't plan on getting rid of the 2 we have.
Use them more locally.
Using more local and put the 2 new ones in for more long distance, but we definitely need more van options than what we have, just because of male, female, the separation, things like that. Some of what's driving the cost on these new inserts, technology's increased. They've added some more safety features, like there's escape panels and hatches that the others don't. There's video cameras in each compartment that actually record now that we don't have in our current vans. They record audio and video. So that's some of what's driving that cost up. I think they're good enhancements, but I didn't realize all that was there when I originally budgeted for these things. So, like I said, the vehicle cost didn't really change. So, the way it breaks down, it's $28,686 for the van itself, and it's $32,000 for the insert. The insert costs more than the van does. Yeah, the van's on the state contract, and I actually priced it even outside the state contract, so if you get them cheaper, the vehicles, you can't get them cheaper in state contract, so. There's only 2 manufacturers that I can find for the compartment inserts that like what we utilize. So there's not a lot of ability to get pricing on those types of inserts. The one company doesn't even offer some of the, like the emergency hatches, things like that, if you're in an accident, that they can get out, and I'm not sure that it's worth to save. I think it's about $2,000 difference if you go with that insert versus the other insert. There's some other differences too, like the air conditioning system and things like that, that aren't at equal to equal on the 2 that I was able to price out.
All right, well, I think you're better off, it's not really any cheaper moving forward, you get 2 vans at 100,000.
Well, obviously, it's good for us to have some stagger if we can in the life cycle of the vans, and as we go forward, you're not gonna be in a position where you're gonna replace 4 at one time. And given the contract that you just signed, we know we have excess revenue if needed. I don't know how we would handle that.
Yeah, do you want to make an appropriation now, the additional, say 30 to that line item, or do you want to wait till the end of the year and try to figure out?
That's not a bad idea either. Although you'd want the flexibility to know you have it now instead of later. We
Yeah.
might forget to do the action later.
We
We
can book it on both sides, book the revenue on the
Yep.
inmate contract line and.
So I'll
book the
make a motion
expense.
that we increase the anticipated revenue from bed rental by 30,000. Not that we're going to repeat that next year's budget, but increase that by 30 and increase the appropriation for motor vehicles by 30,000.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Does that have to go to full board, or is that,
I can't remember, you
there
looked
must
that
be a
up from
threshold, yeah, we gotta look that up.
I can approve a $20,000 purchase, but this is kind of an additional,
Yeah.
on top of a more higher.
I think we're
price.
covered, but you can double check that one.
Okay.
We need to.
I mean, it's not super time sensitive. If we need to wait till next month to do full board approval, then, I just want to get it out there to
Yeah.
the committee to see how to proceed.
Any other outstanding issues? Staff? Fellow F&P members?
No, just, y'all have done a good job helping out in all three jurisdictions. We all appreciate that. And I know sometimes that taxes your staff trying to get out and get around, but y'all have been very accommodating when you can make it work in, so we appreciate that.
All right, our next meeting will be September 26th with cooler weather, less humidity.
That's gonna happen this weekend.
Yeah, I know. Nice, isn't it? All right, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
You don't think
Second.
all right.
By acclamation, we're there.
Yep, we are adjourned.
All right.